What's up, YouTubers and fellow riders? The Chemist is back at it again. Well, you guys asked for it and it's finally here. So today I'm going to be unveiling my new custom design 3D printed switch panel and walk you through the making of this product's history, as well as the wiring up and installation procedures to get this mounted to your bike's speedometer. So stay tuned. Okay guys, so a few years back you might remember a video I put out of me designing a flat panel switch plate that housed 4 switches and a voltmeter that I used on a daily basis. This panel worked great in its overall functionality, but it had a few design drawbacks that kept me from selling it to those of you asking to purchase one, which I'm going to discuss right now. Since I have the double bubble windshield, the contour of this switch plate only allowed it to work with that aftermarket windshield and not the OEM. Additionally, since the panel was wedged between the windshield and gauge cluster, this would cause noticeable scratching on the windshield surface due to the bike's vibration while running. Also, the design of the switch plate was large and flat, with no cool air pass-through ventilation holes. Because of this, it was prone to warping and cracking due to excessive engine heat rising from the headers. And after about a year's time, the panel would end up looking like this. Now, rethinking my design after encountering all these issues, I took my idea back to the old fabrication drawing board and started testing various ideas and locations that was not only easily accessible with your clutch-free hand, but would also allow for the maximum amount of switches available with an included voltmeter that followed the flow of the bike's naturally inspired race design. And after practically dismantling my entire front portion of my bike to take numerous measurements of various locations, this is what my final CAD model resembled before my first prototype print. A bolt-on, race-inspired pod-style system that mimicked the turbo boost pods that you typically see in performance race cars. Now, keeping with that design theme, I also wanted to include something that resembled a shift light, and thus began my internet search for a round-style voltmeter that resembled the shift light glass. If there's one thing I have to say about my experience with product designing and 3D printing, guys, is that while there is a great deal of self-satisfaction watching your creation come to life, it is no easy feat. And the next time you watch a video consisting of a person taking a concept from design to a finished product, take a second to give that person credit where credit is due. After countless design modifications to my CAD model, reiteration prints of fine minute adjustments from the previous version, trying to figure out the best print angles and proper print temperature settings for the most aesthetically eye-pleasing print quality, I've come to have a new respect for the industry and the makers who add to it. And with that said, guys, let's get to the wiring up and mounting portion of this build. Now, before I begin, don't forget to subscribe and click that bell icon to receive my latest DIY project video. And for your convenience, I have placed Amazon affiliate links in the descriptions below to all the parts needed to complete this DIY project. Now, what you see here is all the parts, products, tools, and supplies that you're going to need to assemble and build your new custom designed switch panel. One Chemist designed 3D printed race inspired switch panel. Four 3-prong round rocker LED style switches. One 20 amp 12 to 24 volt round voltmeter, some red, black, and green thin gauge wiring, along with a few red and blue female terminal connectors. And for those of you who are anal like me about your wiring connections, some solder, a soldering iron, for creating secure wiring connections. Now, wiring up your switches does require a little forethought, especially if you're looping connections or using a switch in a different manner than it was originally intended, like I'll be demonstrating here. My suggestion to you is draw a wiring diagram on a piece of paper before committing yourself to cutting any wires or crimping any connections. Later in the video, you're going to see where I should have took my own advice and had to correct 2 mistakes of my own because I got ahead of myself and didn't plan. In your typical 3-prong LED switch setup, consisting of this many switches, it's much cleaner and easier to troubleshoot when looping over the 12-volt positive and negative power source from switch to switch. But some connections will require 2 or more wires for each single connector, while others may only need 1. And this is where good planning comes into play. Now, my application needs may differ from yours, and in this configuration, I need to use 1 switch to power on my voltmeter, 1 switch to power my fog lights, 1 switch to power on my demon halo eyes, and the last switch requires a special configuration, as I only needed to break ground connection to operate my manual fan modification.
Like you, be strong to hold the powers of the sun. To dream, believe in strength. Now I'm the only one, only one. I was an ordinary boy until I broke the rules. My life destroyed, a life destroyed. Until I walk awake, scream my mind, I shout, the ground shakes. How much can I take? My mind will break. Will it break? Can I take? Can I be your superhero? Fly away. It's the first time of today. Today. To dream, believe. You are the strength, you're all I need. Oh, gonna give it a shot. Only one of me to shield you all from the enemy. You're a superhero. You're a superhero. Can I be your superhero? Superhero. 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 Can I be your superhero? frantic and knee deeper now. I gave you all I own, put you on this golden throne, but I'm a little stronger now. You cashed in on my promises, you know I'm too generous. Now I've learned to never help you out, 'cause I'm done cleaning up your mess. Found myself in my regrets. I've become a little stronger now, a little stronger now.
Okay guys, well that's going to bring this tutorial to an end. I really hope you enjoyed this video tutorial on the Chemist designed, race-inspired bolt-on switch panel. If you're interested in purchasing one for your Gixxer, make sure to check out the description section of this video for pricing and contact information related to this product. I'm planning on selling this product in a few variations: fully assembled, build your own with parts provided, or just a switch panel alone, each with their own pricing. As always guys, I'm the Chemist, and I'll see you next problem.